Gypsy Rose deletes all her social media, is separated from her husband. So much is going on with her, and we're going to talk about a little bit of it in today's video. Hello Sofa Squad and welcome back to the sofa. Sofa's back here, Roscoe's on it, he is asleep. My name's Paul, I'm in front of it. I'm awake. Now what we're going to be doing today is talking about another quick update here. So it's not going to be a very long video, but it's going to be about Gypsy Rose Blanchard. And this is going to be in relation to a couple of things that have happened recently, depending on when you're watching this. This is not breaking news, but it's something that I've talked to a lot of you about in the comment section, so I wanted to make a video about it. So much has gone on with this case. I did not follow it. It kept, it just kept going and going and going and becoming this huge thing, right? And when I say case, I'm just really talking about her release and like her life after. So let's go over a couple of articles in this that talk about the two main things I want to address, and then we'll talk about my thoughts after. Now, if you do want to follow Roscoe and I outside of the tubes, you can follow us on the Instagram. It's on the screen. It's in the description. Go on, click it, give it a follow. Now, let's go ahead and put the first thing up here. And before we get to the thing about her split, let's talk about her deleting her social media. So we're going to put this up on the screen here. This is from The Cut. It's by Danielle Cohen. Why did Gypsy Rose Blanchard delete her TikTok? And let's go on over to this next screen here. So the article just addresses the fact that she took down her Instagram account, she deleted it, she took down her public TikTok thing. Now she put some videos up, and when she did it, I started watching them and I said, Paul, record it. And I didn't, and then she took those down too, obviously. But in it, she's basically saying, as the article references here in the first thing, where she's like, I do my best to live my authentic life and what's real to me. What's not real is social media. It's a doorway to hell. She said that she'd set up a private verified Instagram account after having a really good conversation with my dad, but acknowledging the explosion of followers, and said I could give a F about a following, like that's not real life. Now the next paragraph just goes into some of her, explaining about, getting out, not having accountability. People were saying she was being insensitive. She says that she was feeling amazing. And then she cites the comments at the bottom of the second paragraph here. Let's read it verbatim. She cited a comment she made on Nick Viall's, I'm probably saying that wrong, podcast about not identifying as a murderer that she said confused a lot of people. Okay, let's go on to the next page of this, and we'll quote Gypsy here and the article. It says, I did a bad thing, Blanchard said, but I've also been given a second chance at life. So please give me a little grace. Let my actions match my words, she added. I think I'm just now starting to get around to listening to my inner self instead of all the noise that's been on social media. I'm trying to take steps forward, if that makes sense. Though she said in those videos she intended to keep her public TikTok account in addition to a new private one, she appears to have deleted the page a few hours later. Now, if you go down to the next little paragraph here, it does say that a source who talked to people claims that she took her accounts down at the advisement of her parole officer so she won't get in trouble and go back to jail. Okay, so let's talk about the social media thing. So again, Gypsy gets out. Now remember, she's been behind bars. All this documentaries, movies, you name it, have been made about this girl. She gets married, comes out, and it's this explosion. She's promoting books. She's promoting TV shows. Millions of followers. Crazy overnight stuff. This is someone who went from living with her mother in that whole scenario to doing what she and her boyfriend at the time did, to take her life, whatever, however your feelings are on that. It happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, by hook or crook, it happened. She goes directly to prison, then gets married, then comes out. It's like there's been no breathing room she's never been in the real world and free. So my whole thing was, I'm like, like we all know, we've seen the rise and not fall, but so we live with it every day, right? We know, social media is not real, right? I think everybody can realize this. Like, it's a completely world unto itself. And so it's like, it's real, but not like real in real life. So that was my concern with her getting out, is I was just like, and this explosion in social media where I was like, this isn't good. You know what I mean? Like, this is not going to end well on that level for her, right? And clearly it didn't. So I can see why she deleted those. I can also see why her parole officer was like, yeah, you need to do this, girl. Like, this is going to get you in trouble somehow. Because you never know. You know what I mean? There's literally channels dedicated to this girl's life and like unraveling, like going back over the case and all this type of stuff. Because what happened is she kind of, from my perspective, she came out and everyone is like, Gypsy, you're free, and they're like gassing her up and all this. I'm sitting here thinking, okay, how long till everybody turns on her, right? Well, then it happened. And now the tides have turned, and things she said rubbed people the wrong way. Things she did, she kind of got caught up in this and that and the other, and it's like, okay, now everything's turned. Well, you have this massive following that's now going to kind of seemingly come after you, right? So it was like, yeah, get rid of that. Just have a simple life. Also, I can't imagine never having, like, so she's married coming out of prison, and this will kind of segue into our next thing. She's married coming out of prison. Well, she has all these people coming out after her, whether they're authentic or not, because can you imagine the kind of like grifters that are coming towards her? You know what I mean? Like in her DMs and stuff like that. I mean, I'm sure it's like a dime a dozen. So I can see why she deleted all that stuff. Now, let's get into the separation part, okay? And we're going to go back over a different article here. So this article is by Christine Polinsek and Janine Rubenstein and Angel Saunders, it looks like. And this is from People, and this is Gypsy Rose Blanchard announces separation from husband 3 months after prison release. So let's go on to the next little thing here. Now, it says, they've called it quits. She's 32, announced a split with Ryan Scott Anderson on Facebook 3 months after she was released. So let's go ahead and look at her actual Facebook post here. And it says, Gypsy Rose Anderson, people have been asking what's going on in my life. Unfortunately, my husband and I are going through a separation. I moved in with my parents home down the bayou. I have the support of my family and friends to help guide me through this. I'm learning to listen to my heart. Right now, I need time to let myself find who I am. So, again, take out all the stuff about who Ryan really is and this, that, and the other. And if she could be talking to other guys in her DMs. I don't know, right? I feel like this is what we saw even in the docuseries. It was about like her family talking to him. Like, she's never had that. In my opinion, she needed to get out of prison and go right to her family and be in that containment unit of family, right? And not a man, and be around them. So it was almost like this was kind of inevitable. Any relationship that has fame on it, it has all these extra pressures, right? You add instant fame, which hers isn't really instant, but in a way it is, because she hasn't been out to experience it. It was like the whole world, or nation at least, was aware of her, and she's locked away, and then she gets out and it's like a wave that hits her. Well, she's in this relationship with this dude who was probably one thing when she's locked away. Well, we even already heard when she was locked away that this other dude she had dealt with was like, talking to her, and all this kind of stuff. So I'm like, I mean, that's already going on, out in the free world. She's going to have every opportunity to talk to numerous guys, right? And I'm not trying to say this is right, wrong, or indifferent. It's like you've never really experienced this. And I also can understand wanting to be married and doing all that kind of stuff, and especially being, locked away, and he's like this lifeline for you. I can see the attraction and all that type stuff. Well, then you get out and you're hit with this fame, and number one, then it starts to kind of turn on you, because it's fame for like something kind of odd, right? It's like, no matter what, it's centered around the death of her mother, and these horrible things that were done to her, done to, the things that the Gypsy lived through. So it's this bizarre infamy, that's just like, okay. And everyone's kind of treating her in the social media light like some regular TikToker that rose to fame through dancing, making little TikTok videos. And it's like a completely different beast of its own. Well, then the whole time you've got this brand new husband who you're dealing with, who is like, okay, we've never lived together. We've never operated day to day, and for Gypsy, it's like, I can't imagine. I cannot imagine what that would be like. So, that being said, I mean, I hope she figures everything out. I hope that, whatever it is that she needs to do, she does it. I feel like this. I feel like what she needs to do is buckle down and focus on Gypsy. I don't think she would have to get a normal job, because I would imagine she made enough money from her book or the TV show. I don't know how that stuff works, but it's like, live with your family, keep your head down, do your probation, and just do day to day and work on Gypsy. Do your therapy, do this and that. Get off all this circuit of doing all these shows and interviews and all this and all that, and let it absorb and be like, oh, this is what this is like. This is what real life is like. This is what operating in real life is like. Go to the grocery store. Do these things that we've seen her doing, but just be normal, air quotes. I hate using that word, but just do that for a while and see how that feels. Then worry about dating, then worry about all this other stuff and work through these. Because another thing that I've always felt with this is she's going to have this very warped sense of like how the world operates, because even though she was living through this like living hell with her mother, all this stuff was always given to her and all these opportunities were always presented because her mom was grifting them. You know what I'm saying? So there, I would imagine there's going to be some level of, no, you're not, you don't get this door open for you just because. You know what I'm saying? And so this level of, okay, okay, I forgot I don't have blank, or I don't have, that type thing. And I feel like with the turn of social media, everybody's scrutinizing everything she says, almost like she's manipulating or doing this and doing that. And maybe she is. I don't know her personally. It's anyone's guess, right? But regardless, all this other noise, a husband getting out of prison, social media, books, movies, all this, it's just noise, and she needs to just cut it out and chill. And then, like she said, listen to her heart. You know what I'm saying? So that's it. Let me know what you think. I'm very curious. Unless something major happens with this, I probably won't comment much more on this, just because of it's insane how much people are just like following her every move and stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But this was one thing where I was like, okay, here we go. Like, so many of you have hit me up about this. So I'm curious to see what you think. Let me know down in the comment section. Do you think this is the best thing for her? Like, what are your thoughts on it? So anyways, I do appreciate if you're still watching. Roscoe says thank you. He asks that you drop some sofas off in the comment section so that he and I can run down there and hang out on the sofas, talk about this case and others. And until we do, we'll see y'all soon. I just wanted to say thank you again for watching the whole video, and also thank you for being part of the Sofa Squad. Special thanks to all the Patreon members, channel members from both of my channels, everybody who likes, shares, subscribes, comments in the comment sections. It helps the channel out so much. Now, don't forget, I do have that other channel, the podcast channel. That's where we go live, we hang out, we talk. We have kind of sort of a schedule, but just be sure and check it out. I'll put it up here on the screen. Also, if you're looking for merch, be sure to check out my Teespring store. I'll put that up here. And then, like I said in the beginning of the video, if you want to follow me and Roscoe on the Instagram, go on, check it out. It's right here on the screen again. But once again, thank you very much. I really appreciate you being part of the Sofa Squad, and I'll see you in the next video.